as the result of the binding of spirits by these conjurations and these magical formulas, it came to be believed that human beings could hurt each other. The idea that man might want to use evil, some kind of an invisible or magical evil, to hurt other people. This was a very late development in the idea of demonology, that human beings should want to use evil forces to afflict each other. This was simply not part of primitive ethics in the majority of instances. It arises occasionally, but is certainly of the exception rather than of the rule. The concept that either evil wanted to conquer good or could conquer good came late. It did not seem to occur to these older peoples that these spirits were other than what they seemed to be, some kind of a hierarchy of entities, inhabiting their own worlds and coming in contact with man only on very rare occasions. The second type of spirit that was regarded as hurtful or harmful was the individual who died with great evil or great hate in his heart. If we wronged someone terribly and he died, we conceived that he might haunt us. Perhaps this haunting was mostly the voice of our own conscience. We may have realized that this person went out of this world injured by us, and that perhaps had he a survival after death, he might resent this injury and continue to avenge it from the other world as he might have liked to do it from here. So we have this kind of spirit being, the souls of the unhappy dead. This more or less exhausted the Greek concept. The Greeks were never particularly devoted to demonology. They kind of liked life, they enjoyed nature. Their religion was a rather buoyant, festive kind. They would much rather live in a world filled with good spirits than with evil ones. Our word demon, however, has been derived from the Greek. In the Greek form, daemon, it did not signify an evil being at all. It simply represented a creature from another dimension who might have some contact with earthly affairs. Socrates had a demon, according to his own records, and this was a godlike creature who warned him of impending evil and harm and protected him on many occasions through life. Once we began to believe in witchcraft, once we believed that human beings could make pacts with demons, or could develop within themselves some evil force, could pervert their own nature and begin to burden us with their perversions, like the witches of Europe riding on their broomsticks to the Sabbath on the Brocken. Human beings themselves voluntarily and of their own inner conviction chose to become evil, chose to hurt or destroy other people, and sought in long and difficult processes to discover means by means of which they could bewitch or haunt or in some way from a distance plague or hurt normal, innocent folks. So in the most part, we come down to comparatively modern times, bringing with us all the grimoires of old, the ancient books of magic and spirits, the pentacles and talismans of Agrippa, of the old book of the keys of Solomon the king. We have all these beliefs that have been shadowed down through time, books that have to do with the creation of an empire of sorcery, a sorcery in which all of the common good of life is threatened and the universe is placed at the disposal of the sorcerer. If he can become wise enough, if he can become strong enough, if he can become skillful enough, there seems to be no limit to what he can do to ordinary, well-intentioned, God-fearing people. This concept has lingered on, however, in an extraordinary way. We have to face it more frequently than perhaps we like to really imagine. Even in our most sober moments, we are afraid that somewhere around us, somewhere in space, are powers of evil. That these powers of evil, operating upon us from the invisible, or coming into focus here through persons of evil nature, that these forces can do us great harm.